Okay, we've seen this great production that you had at the Fantasy Fair. I was there. It was an experience, let me tell you. Let's go back to the very beginning. What was your first convention like that you produced?
Well, I've been going to comic book conventions since 1971 when I was 11, and I was real fascinated by them. I was real overwhelmed by just the mass of all these comics you'd see there. And back then it was a different story because there weren't comic book shops. You couldn't walk into your local comic shop and buy a back issue. You'd have to wait till once a year when the convention came into town, and that would be your only chance really at getting something like that. And eventually, as times changed and the comic book companies became courting the comic collector market, more shops opened up and things like that, that part of the conventions was really replaced by comic shops. But the conventions were always, for me, a place you could get together and meet people that enjoyed the same thing you enjoy. It wouldn't be like going down to the comic shop where you'd be in there and out to get your stuff for that week. But you could go and you could hang out, and you could get stuff signed by the artists, and you get the chance to meet other people that shared your interests. And that was really one of the primary functions for me first putting on conventions. It wasn't a business for me back then. It was my hobby, and we had a real good time with it.
So what's the future look like for Bulldog Productions?
Well, we were real happy with the result of our 3 Dallas shows every year. Immediately, I'd really like to start building the July show into a bigger national show, which the last couple of years we've really started to do. We had a retailer's trade show that was held in conjunction with this year's show, which is the kind of trade show like they have in San Diego and a lot of the home bases for the comic distributors. We were the first one within 1,000 miles, first one ever in Texas, obviously. And then we had an awards ceremony called the Harvey Awards, which were named after...
I'm glad you mentioned that. I wanted to...
It was named after Harvey Kurtzman, whose career in comics pretty much has exemplified excellence in the medium. And it's an awards ceremony that's organized by Fantagraphics Books and Lone Star Comics, which is a local chain. And pretty much I think it's voted on by creators, strictly to recognize creators by their peers. And originally the awards was held at the Chicago Comic Convention, but we contacted the organizers and got them to move it down here because we promised them we'd have a big lavish banquet and we'd really make the awards ceremony a prestigious event. And I think we were pretty successful in that, so we're real happy to have them here every summer now.
Is there any difference between the collectors from 1979 as opposed to the collectors fans of 1989?
Yeah, why don't I maybe go a little bit before 1979. The thing that really started all the enthusiasm for comics were people going after back issues. Back in the early 70s, they were really hard to get. Since then, the comic market and comic shops are more geared towards new product, new comics. And that's predominantly because that's been marketed so much better in the last 10 years by the comic companies. They realized what a large audience it was. So they print a lot of comics with the collector in mind. And that's pretty much the primary difference, I would say. Just it's grown up like any other kind of business.
What's coming up for Bulldog next?
As far as Bulldog goes right now, we're trying to become more professional. We incorporated this year. We've got a better bookkeeping system. We're trying to organize ourselves more as a business, which a lot of times when you're involved in putting on the show and all that, a lot of that stuff gets put on the back shelf. But to really grow, that's what we need to, it's like the rest of the comics industry. We're trying to grow up as much as we can.
Great. Larry, I sure appreciate your time this afternoon, and thanks for dropping by.
Thank you, Keith.
Attention all local artists and amateur filmmakers. The Comic Book Show wants your home movies and artwork that concern superhero characters. If you've made a video about a costumed crime fighter or draw your own heroes, we want to know about it. Write us at The Comic Book Show, 3406 Rosedale, Dallas, Texas, 75205. That's 3406 Rosedale, Dallas, Texas, 75205. The Comic Book Show is looking for artwork and videos featuring your original superhero characters. Write us a letter, and maybe soon you will see your own creations featured here on The Comic Book Show. Our address is The Comic Book Show, 3406 Rosedale, Dallas, Texas, 75205. This offer could expire at any time, and no salesman will call, so right before midnight tonight to The Comic Book Show, 3406 Rosedale, Dallas, Texas, 75205. Do it now.
Well, this is tick number 3. This is the first issue, and pretty much one of my favorite issues because well, it introduces a new character, or actually in depth, about Oedipus. That's actually a co-worker, or actually a helper of the Tick. And I like the Tick a lot because, it has like a lot of humor in it, and it's kind of hard to explain really. The writing itself is really good, and the artwork is pretty cool. I like it a lot.
Hello, I'm here to tell you about Roach Mill number 4, and I like Roach Mill because it's come a long way since Black Farm Publishing. There's a lot of action in number 4. There's a rescue mission, and the reason I like Roach Mill is because he's got 4 arms, so that means he can blow away twice as many bad guys.
Alright, this is the new Thor. It's last issue Dr. Doom stole Thor's hammer, and he's planning on going back to Latveria and reclaim his kingdom and so forth, and he's going to take his hammer and apparently beat Kristoff's brains out with it, which is Dr. Doom number 2, who is presently in control of it, and Dr. Doom really doesn't like that. So he's now using any and every mean possible to regain his kingdom and his stature in world and the universe itself.
Hi, I'm Jackie Spring, and welcome to Fantasy Film Report. So far this year, the Batman movie has baffed, banged, smashed, and kerplooshed all box office records. It's made so far the equivalence of over $3 million in the United Kingdom, and here in the States, it's grossed over $200 million. Holy gross national product. Step aside, Star Wars, Batman's here. As for sequel plans, nothing's been told as of yet as to the screenwriter or director. Tim Burton has bowed out on the director's tour for the second movie. As for casting decisions, some names have been mentioned, but nothing definite yet. So far, they're thinking of Cher as Catwoman. I can't wait to see that costume. And Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Here's a good one. How about Robin Williams as the Riddler? Nanu nanu. Nothing's definite as of yet, though. Hey, and how about pizza? Let's bring in the pizza for the popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes on a Half Shell. Their movie's coming out in a live-action theater near you. Costumes for the Turtles? Well, so far they've decided on Jim Henson to do that. Although the film will not be released until the summer of 1990, expectations are high that the long wait for the Turtles will be well worth it. It's still up in the air as to the release of the Punisher movie starring Dolph Lundgren, who was also in the Heroes Masters of the Universe story recently. They don't know yet if it's going to be released in theaters or if it's just going to go directly to a video release. My hope is a video release. What are some of the other characters that Marvel will be featuring in the upcoming movies? Well, how about Captain America? Also, Spider-Man will be another Marvel character spinning its way into the theaters near you. And the Submariner is another character who is considered for the big screen. For some reason, I'm getting visions of Patrick Duffy here. I'm not sure why. The filming will be done by the same North Carolina studio that they did shooting at in The Abyss. Live-action movies based on cartoons may be an upcoming trend. This fall, Bullwinkle's deadly duo, Natasha and Boris, will be in a movie on their own. The characters will be Dave Thomas, formerly of City TV, and Sally Kellerman. Hopefully they can pull a hit out of their hat this time. And finally, the Watchmen movie, based on Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' limited series, is a turnaround 20th Century Fox to Warner Brother picture, so they're having a little problem getting it out right now. The script for The Watchmen, written by Sam Hamm, who also wrote the script for another DC character, Batman something or other. Till next time, this is Jackie Spring for the Comic Book Show.
Dale, what's hot this year?
Spider-Man's with the first Punisher appearance. Batman still is running real hot. Also old DCs from the 60s, Silver Age, and also always Marvels.
I don't know, Aliens, Predator seems to be the new hot one. Turtles are still doing good. X-Men always, any mutants Marvel puts out, Wolverine, X-Factor, X-Men, they all sound good.
What's hot, Dave?
Pretty much all the books that, like, the crossover books are pretty hot, but also like what our friend said about Punisher, because with the movie coming out, and also I think Sergeant Rock is going to be pretty hot because supposedly the movie's supposed to come out. So all that publicity helps the hobby a lot to promote, new growth. But pretty much, of course Batman's hot, and just all the the older books, the key books, probably the best of all.
Tell me what's hot later this year.
The Punisher. Real hot.
Real hot. And I think
Batman's been hot.
Batman and Spider-Man.
X-Men. We got some X-Men,
Yeah.
right? The Punishers are real hot. We have a couple of them posted up there, and Detective Comics. So I think they're going to be the hottest ones out there. And a little bit of Amazing Spider-Man. Make an Amazing Spider-Man movie. It'll be even hotter.
I've heard some speculation that Sergeant Rock could go up because of possible movie, Sergeant Rock movie. And then some of the older things that have traditionally not been very popular are shooting up, like old photo covers, television photo covers, movie photo covers, and old westerns, 50s westerns, old horror and science horror and mystery books that usually been pretty cheap to be as old as they are starting to bounce up.